She was demanding. She got on the phone with me and demanded that not only would I take her case, but I had to start her lawsuit immediately within the next 3 days. You want to know why? Come join me for a moment as I share with you exactly why. Hi, I'm Jerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. All right, I took a call from a woman who told me that she had a medical malpractice case, and she wanted to sue her doctor for medical malpractice. She believed that the doctor was careless and that his carelessness caused her significant harm and injury. And now she demanded that she had a valid case. She basically said, listen, I'm telling you I have a great case. It's $1 million case, and I need you to take it right now. And I said, what's the hurry? What's the rush? She said, because I have only 3 days left in which to file a lawsuit. And I said, now I understand. Now, why is that a big deal? It's a big deal because you should know that in every type of medical malpractice case in New York, there is a very strict time limit in which an injured patient has to bring a lawsuit against the careless doctor or hospital. So what was the big deal? The big deal was that in her particular case, the time in which she had to file was expiring within the next 3 days. So now this woman not only demanded that she had a great case, but she was telling me that I had to take on her case and file a lawsuit within 3 days. You know what I said to her? I said, that's not happening. And she got so upset with me. She started yelling. She started screaming at me. What do you mean? I've got a great case. How could you not take on my case? And I said, for the very simple reason that there's no possible way I would ever take on a case with only 3 days left to determine whether or not you have a valid basis for a case. And she kept arguing with me. Hey, Mr. Oginski, I'm telling you I have a valid case. I said, has a medical expert reviewed all of your medical records to confirm that, number one, your doctor was careless? She said, no. I said, has a medical expert reviewed all of your records to determine whether or not the carelessness that you claim occurred was a cause of your injury? And she said, no. And I said, has any doctor reviewed all of your medical records to determine whether the carelessness that you believe occurred, which maybe it is a cause of your injury, that your injuries are significant or permanent? And she said, no. I said, well, in order to get to that stage will take you many, many months. So normally what happens is that when you call the office and you think you have a valid case, if we choose to accept it for investigation, now we have to begin an entire process to get all of your medical records. And then, once we obtain all of your medical records, we actually have to go through and scour each and every page of your medical records to determine for ourselves whether or not there may be a basis for a case. And only after we have gotten all of your medical records, and only after we have scoured those records ourselves, do we then go ahead and hire a medical expert to go ahead and evaluate those records. Only then, after a medical expert has confirmed that you have a valid basis for a case, are we permitted by law to go ahead and file a lawsuit on your behalf. That's the process. And that process can take many, many months in order to determine whether or not you truly have a valid basis for a case. So when I told this woman that there was absolutely no possible way I would consider taking on her case and filing a lawsuit on her behalf before her time ran out, she went ballistic. This is ridiculous. I can't believe you lawyers. And she started ranting and raving on the telephone with me. And I kept telling her, listen, I'm sorry, but this is the process. The fact that you now come to me with an emergency, I understand how time sensitive this is. But the fact is, it is insufficient time for me to go ahead and do a proper and thorough evaluation. She turned around and said, this is ridiculous. I'm sure there are ways to get around that. I said, you know what? You may find an attorney who's willing to go ahead and do that, but not here. That's not what we do. Instead, we do it right, we do it correctly, and the fact that you now show up with only 3 days left on your statute of limitations means that I can't help you. So why do I share this quick story with you? I share it with you just to give you a sense of what can happen when you pick up the phone to speak to an attorney and now you have only days left within which to file your lawsuit. In all likelihood, you're not going to find an experienced attorney who's willing to go ahead and investigate and go ahead and file a lawsuit on your behalf at that point. You know, I do realize you're likely watching this video because you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen in New York and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit but haven't done so yet because you still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know I answer questions like yours every single day and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Jerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Jerry Oginski. Have a great day.